feud between It Ends With Us stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni is now threatening to pull in Taylor Swift. After her name surfaced in court documents, Baldoni's lawyer says he could depose the star singer. And now a new $7 million lawsuit's been filed, this time against Lively.
On my part, one thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail.
Through text messages, videos, screenshots, the director of It Ends With Us says he can prove that he didn't harass the actress and he didn't try to destroy.
Y'all, you won't believe the absolute drama that's unfolding between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Things are getting seriously heated, and Justin's legal team is not holding back. They're straight up calling Blake a liar. Can you believe it? After Blake dropped that bombshell lawsuit accusing Justin of harassment and misconduct, his team fired back within just 48 hours, basically saying, "Nice try, but we've got receipts to prove that's not what went down." And let me tell you, ever since Justin decided to take legal action against Blake's allegations, it's been one shocking revelation after another. It's like watching a Hollywood thriller unfold in real time. Poor Ryan Reynolds and everyone else caught in this mess, they probably never saw this coming. But here's the real tea. Justin isn't just talking. He's bringing out text messages, behind-the-scenes footage, and according to his lawyers, they're just warming up. This is about to get so much juicier.
Time progressed in this film. She decided that she wanted to be a producer. She started to make edits. She wanted to be part of the editing team. There were people hired, like human beings actually hired to do the editing job, who had done work as editors.
Now, for those of you who haven't been keeping up with this absolutely wild drama, and trust me, it's a lot, things are getting messier by the minute. So here's what went down. Justin Baldoni, along with Jimmy Heath, Wayfair Studios, and his publicist, first went after the New York Times. You know, the outlet that originally published Blake's allegations. But honey, that was just round one. In the second lawsuit, and this is where it gets really interesting, Justin went straight for Blake and Ryan Reynolds. And oh my God, you won't believe how Game of Thrones references, Taylor Swift drama, and some seriously shady text messages all come into play. Justin's first lawsuit claims something pretty explosive. He says the New York Times actually worked with Blake to twist the story, cherry-picking evidence and conveniently leaving out key details to make him and his team look bad. Get this! Justin says when the New York Times reached out before publishing, he and his team flat out told them Blake's side wasn't true. But did that stop them? Absolutely not. The article still ran, and Justin believes it was all part of this month-long scheme to push Blake's version of events. He even claims the Times rushed to publish the story 2 whole hours early just to control the narrative. The drama is literally off the charts.
Are you saying that they got changed copies of the communications, or that they changed the communications to remove emojis? Are you blaming the New York Times for doing that?
I'm blaming the New York Times for participating with Blake Lively's publicists and engaging in this campaign.
Now, here's where things get really interesting with Blake. Instead of going straight for a lawsuit, she played it sneaky and filed this right to sue letter with the California Civil Rights Department. Why? Well, according to Justin's team, it was all about avoiding the discovery process and keeping everything hush-hush. But now that everything's out in the open, Justin's team is claiming Blake's real goal wasn't even about filing a lawsuit. It was all about making herself look credible. And oh my goodness, let's talk about one of Blake's biggest accusations. She claimed Justin and his team were trying to destroy her reputation by using their media connections to push negative press. She even showed these text messages that supposedly proved it. But hold on to your seats, because Justin's team just dropped a massive bombshell. They're saying Blake actually doctored those messages to make it look like there was this huge takedown happening. They've released their own receipts, and let me tell you, they tell a completely different story. In their internal discussions, Justin's team was actually worried about Blake's PR team pushing fake positive comments about her. There's this one exchange that's absolutely wild. Justin literally asks, "How can we prove we aren't doing this? It looks bad." His colleagues had to reassure him that Blake's team was behind it all. This next part is absolutely shocking. Justin's lawsuit points out how Blake apparently edited messages to fit her narrative. Get this, she shared this text exchange where someone sent an article titled, "Could Blake Lively be canceled?" And a team member supposedly responded with, "Wow, you outdid yourself with this." But here's the tea. Justin's team says Blake conveniently removed emojis and sarcasm, making what was actually a joke look totally serious. There's this incredibly revealing moment where Justin sent his PR rep Melissa a TikTok from Perez Hilton. In it, Perez claims someone from Justin's team told him to post negative content about Blake. Justin immediately jumped in asking, "This is not us, correct?" And Melissa shut it down faster than you can say drama, saying none of them would ever do something like that. She even dismissed Perez as just being a troll and assured Justin that no credible outlet would take him seriously. But wait, it gets even better. There's another text exchange showing Justin's team sharing articles about Blake's past controversies, but Melissa insists they had absolutely no idea about any of it. She tells Justin something really interesting. Once the media goes in, they go in. Basically saying the backlash wasn't orchestrated at all. It was just the internet doing what the internet does best, digging up dirt on its own. She even adds this savage comment: Blake handed it to them on a plate. And here's where Blake's claims really start falling apart. There's this explosive text conversation between her own publicist Leslie Sloan and a Daily Mail reporter named James. Leslie's trying to play it cool, saying, "I'm not paid to take people down, I'm honest." But James drops this truth bomb. He says Melissa hasn't done anything anti-Blake at all. She told him exactly what she told everyone else, that the backlash was totally organic, but it gets even juicier. Leslie disagrees, but then James reveals something absolutely shocking. He never heard anything about Blake's essay claims until much later. Can you believe that? He says that in multiple conversations with Leslie, she never once mentioned Blake's allegations against Justin. And then he spills some serious tea about Leslie, suggesting she has a history of lying. Apparently, she often gives reporters information and then denies it when her clients get upset. Now, let's talk about these HR complaints that Blake mentioned in her lawsuit. She claimed Justin's PR team was celebrating after shutting down HR complaints on set. And everyone assumed this was about the serious allegations. But Justin's team just turned that narrative completely upside down. They revealed an email from TMZ showing that those complaints were actually about workplace conflicts, not what everyone thought. A TMZ reporter even told Melissa that their sources on set found Justin to be a nice guy. The real issue? According to these insiders, it was Blake's huge ego. This next part is absolutely wild. Melissa later messages TMZ saying, "Blake Lively's camp keeps thinking we're the ones placing stories, but we're not." And the TMZ reporter's response? Oh my God. They said, "Wait till I tell you the whole story. You think you know, but you don't." In my whole career, I've never come across something like this. Can you even imagine what they're sitting on? And then there's this whole situation with Jamie Key. Blake's lawsuit claimed he showed her this video she thought was adult content, but it turned out to be a recording of his wife giving birth. She said it was disturbing, but Jamie defended himself, saying there was absolutely nothing inappropriate about it. It was just a personal moment. They even shared a still from the video to prove their point. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The New York Times backed Blake's claim that both Jamie and Justin repeatedly entered her trailer uninvited while she was undressed, even when she was breastfeeding. But Justin's lawsuit just completely flipped that story on its head. They showed a text from Blake to Justin that read, "I'm just pumping in my trailer if you want to work on our lines." Justin responded, "Copy eating with the crew and we'll head that way." Talk about missing context in her lawsuit. Blake also tried to paint Justin as this creep who wanted to make her character look sexier. But honey, the receipts tell a different story. Justin's lawsuit includes text where Blake herself was the one pushing for a sexier look. In one text, she literally describes an outfit as much sexier and says, "As a girl, I'd check that out walking down the street." The plot thickens. And let's talk about these kissing scenes that Blake claimed Justin forced on her. According to her, he was always discussing his intimate life, but Justin's response? He dropped this bomb. Blake intentionally refused to meet with the film's intimacy coordinator. This meant poor Justin had to handle those discussions alone and relay the coordinator's notes to her, even though he really didn't want to. They ended up working on the intimate scenes together without the coordinator, and Justin says their conversations were all about character development, not what Blake made them seem like.
Nosy. I know. And my nose is so big.
I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late. Just gotta shut down. We gotta call an insurance month and just deal with that.
Yeah.
And then,
Oh my goodness, you have to see this footage. It completely contradicts Blake's story about that behind-the-scenes moment. She claimed Justin put his lips near her neck and made inappropriate comments about her scent during what was supposed to be a silent montage. But the video shows something totally different. They're both laughing and chatting about how to approach the scene, with Justin joking about getting his beard on her and Blake laughing back about probably getting her spray tan on him. When Justin mentions it smells good, she casually replies, "It's my body makeup." It was all so professional and fun, nothing like the creepy encounters she described. Now, here's where the real tea starts spilling. The lawsuit takes a major turn and focuses on who really had control over the movie. Justin claims Blake is running this whole smear campaign against him because she got exposed for basically taking over his film. Get this, Justin's company Wayfarer Studios had secured the rights to the novel with Sony, but even though he was the director, he lost creative control to Blake, who managed to snag a producing credit. And this next part is absolutely shocking. Justin's lawsuit reveals that Sony sided with Blake so much that even the film editors weren't allowed to review her version of the cut. Can you believe that? In this text conversation, Justin asks his editors if they'd seen her edits, and their response is jaw-dropping, "We are not permitted to look." Justin was completely stunned, saying, "The editors and director aren't allowed to see an actress's cut. Got it." Later, he told his team he had no choice but to accept her demands just to save the film. But wait, it gets worse. Blake reportedly pushed Justin out of the movie's promotional events to make sure her version of the film got all the attention. And if you thought that was the end of it, think again. Blake and Ryan Reynolds have been throwing this subtle shade at Justin that most people wouldn't even catch, but when you connect the dots, it's so obvious. Turns out Ryan wasn't just being a supportive husband, he was actually rewriting the script. One cast member confirmed that Ryan tweaked multiple scenes and made major changes, something almost no other actor would ever get away with. But because Blake was involved, apparently the usual rules didn't apply.
Hold on, you guys have to see this.
Ryan's here tonight. What is it like for the both of you to be promoting major motion pictures at the same time?
Oh my gosh, it's just so thrilling in our house right now. We help each other. We work together so much. The iconic rooftop scene in this movie, my husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows that, but you know. But
he wrote the
it.
rooftop
he works
scene.
on everything I do. I work on everything he does. So his wins, his celebrations are mine, and mine are his. I mean, he's all over this film.
And Hugh Jackman.
From day one, Blake and Ryan were just going wild with the script, changing lines and reworking scenes daily, causing all this tension on set. And here's the really sneaky part. Blake knew exactly how to play Justin. She totally buttered him up, calling him one of the best directors she'd ever worked with, claiming other directors had always shut her down and never let her contribute. Justin, trying to be fair, gave her creative freedom, but oh my God, did that decision come back to haunt him? She ended up rewriting this crucial rooftop scene, and that's when everything changed. According to Baldoni and his lawyers, Blake made sure to emphasize that Ryan and Taylor Swift absolutely loved her version of the scene and couldn't wait to see Justin's reaction. But she didn't stop there. She actually invited Justin to her penthouse where Ryan and Taylor hyped up her writing, basically convincing Justin that it had to stay in the film. Afterward, Justin texted her praising her talent and saying he tried to incorporate some of her ideas into the final cut. And this is where it gets really wild. The Game of Thrones references started flying. In one of their messages, Blake actually compared herself to Khaleesi, saying she had dragons on her side, meaning Taylor and Ryan Reynolds would back her up no matter what. She wasn't just name-dropping, she was making it crystal clear that she had serious influence in both the movie and music industries. But Blake wasn't satisfied with just one scene rewrite. She wanted control over the entire script. Justin, trying to keep the peace, let her make changes daily, hoping to avoid drama. But as time went on, the rewrites became more and more frequent, and Blake started questioning every single directing decision, creating even more tension behind the scenes. Now this next part is absolutely wild. Before filming even began, drama was already brewing. Apparently, Justin made this comment about Blake's weight, and boom, suddenly there were accusations of fat shaming flying everywhere. But here's the real tea. Justin wasn't being shady at all. He had simply asked her trainer about her weight because he needed to lift her in a scene, and with his back problems, he just wanted to make sure it was safe. Sounds totally reasonable, right? Well, that private conversation didn't stay private for long, Blake told Ryan. And the next thing you know, Ryan stormed into their penthouse, ready to go full Deadpool on Justin. He accused him of body shaming Blake, and things just spiraled from there. But Blake wasn't done yet. Oh no. She reportedly threatened to walk off the project unless Justin played by her rules. And if he didn't, she made it very clear that she'd go public with accusations that he fat-shamed her. Poor Justin was stuck between a rock and a PR nightmare. He had no way out without risking his entire reputation. Meanwhile, Blake had successfully turned Ryan against him, getting him so riled up that even though Justin had done nothing wrong, he still found himself apologizing just to keep the peace. But here's where it gets really interesting. Despite later claiming that Justin had harassed her during the first month of filming, Blake was still texting him constantly. And get this, she kept asking for daily footage of the film. Like, if you felt truly harassed, why would you be so eager to stay in constant communication and see what was being filmed? Even more bizarre, her messages were full of praise, complimenting the clips, and even asking for more. And now for the latest bombshell, Taylor Swift might be ready to cut ties with Blake, realizing she was just being used as a pawn in Blake's industry games. Can you believe it? Taylor didn't even invite Blake to this year's Super Bowl, an invite that Taylor has extended to so many others in the past. Sources say Blake wasn't planning on going anyway, trying to avoid stealing the spotlight from Taylor and Travis Kelce's big moment. But there's more to this story. According to insiders, Taylor now feels some type of way about Blake, especially resenting being branded as one of her dragons. Apparently, Swift had no idea Baldoni would even be there when she went to meet Blake at her apartment. Sources say Taylor believes Blake intentionally timed the meeting just right. And that dragon comment? It definitely didn't sit well with Swift. I mean, who talks about their friend like that? The drama just keeps coming. Swift's reportedly learned that Blake's been inappropriately using her name for quite a while. For example, Blake allegedly told a young actress that Taylor cast her, which according to sources, never actually happened. Yikes! With all this going down, Blake's in serious trouble right now. Not only does Justin have a real shot at winning this case, but Blake might also be losing friends, money, and tons of opportunities. It's literally like watching a Hollywood empire crumbling before our eyes.